Hey guys, come on in, come on in. We have new information in the Bryan Kohberger case. Did Melissa Kohberger write a book? Well, my head mod and Jazz found a book that is being attributed to Melissa Kohberger. Is it the Melissa Kohberger, Bryan's sister? Stop what you're doing. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about the book that was found by head mod and Jazz on Amazon, purporting to be written by Melissa Kohberger. Olivia Gonzalez met with with Bill Thompson. That's Steve Gonzalez's daughter, Olivia, Kaylee's big sister, and the Idaho State Police. She sat down with them, and then BK doesn't want to pay victims' families their restitution. Is there a book deal or a movie deal in the works? Let's go ahead and get started. Everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and this video is for adults only. Viewer discretion is advised. If you haven't subscribed, it's free, and it helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Like, share, leave a comment. Okay, let's start off with this book, and then we're going to be looking at this poem that Melissa wrote too. She wrote a poem, and we're going to look at that together too. And her mom was also did like to write, so we'll talk about that as well. So let's start off with the book though, because I do think this is really interesting, and I went, oh, this is interesting. It might be down. Let me see. I saved the link to the book, and let's see if it's down. Oh, it might be down already. Very interesting. Well, I did save the link to this book that was purported to be written by Melissa. Let me just try this one more time. Open the link. Nope, it's gone. Let me just show you what I'm looking at. Page not found. Page not found. So the book is gone. Now, Njaz, said she ordered it. I'm curious, Njaz, if you got a refund or if you're going to get a refund on this book. So Melissa Kohberger reportedly wrote a book on Amazon, but in doing some searches on this, I don't think that this book was written by Bryan's sister Melissa, because this was a Melissa J. Kohberger, and I had to dig for a little while. But what I found out is that Bryan's sister's middle name is Ann, Melissa Ann Kohberger, like in Mary Ann, probably. So she did write this poem. Let's see if I can get that. Let's grab that. Yeah, I was going to cross-reference the poem with her book. It looks like it came down. I do think it was a poser. So I'm wondering now. Okay, so this is the poem that she wrote. Let me take this down and share this. Okay. So she did write this poem. This was after so this was written, and she was working as a mental health therapist in New Jersey. And she said, as I sat this morning reeling from yet another school, and pew pew, I found myself wrestling with an action that needed to be taken to stop all this madness. What is the answer? Gun control measures, mental health. It's so ironic that she wrote this and what her brother did. But she said, then I received, maybe she is interested in this and is compassionate about this. She said, then I received a message from my daughter This is Mary Ann writing this, who works as a mental health therapist. So this is Bryan's mother writing this about Melissa Kohberger, Bryan's sister. She shared a poem she had written, which, while in the greatest depths of despair, shook me to my core. I felt the need to share it. So this is by 31-year-old Melissa. Bereft of their laughter, there is not a sound. We lower our children into the ground, small hands and feet, buried 6 feet into the earth and the world that has failed them. And I think it's really beautifully written. She does really have a talent, and clearly, she has a lot of compassion for other people, which is probably why she went into the mental health field. So we also have her on News Nation. We had heard on March 26th of 2023 that she and Amanda had been fired from their respective jobs after BK was arrested. And on July 2nd, her parents did attend the hearing with Judge Hip, that's what we like to call him, at the Ada County Courthouse in Boise, Idaho, where Bryan BK pled guilty to 4 counts of murder and 1 count of breaking and entering to avoid the capital punishment. Her brother was sentenced to 4 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Now we have Olivia Gonzalez, who met with Bill Thompson. So let's talk about this together. Olivia did an interview with Bryan Kohberger where she discusses sitting down with prosecutor Bill Thompson and the Idaho State Police. She shared that she understands why Bill Thompson made a plea deal. She stated that by making the plea deal, Bill Thompson spared a lot of people the trial, including the jurors, who would have had to have seen crime scene photos that she said once they would have seen that, they wouldn't have been able to unsee it. She also shares that she viewed one crime scene photo of Kaylee, only one, and that Maddie was redacted. She also stated that Bill Thompson could not promise additional photos of the crime scene would not be released to the public because the defense team also had access to these photos. So a little swipe at the defense team from Bill Thompson, or maybe he just didn't want to overpromise. So very, very interesting on this. So my question is, what new hell is this? Because Bryan Kohberger is now claiming, and if you guys were with me on the members only live stream, we talked about this at length. Bryan Kohberger is now saying that he should not be required to reimburse victim family members for things like travel and accommodations because the families had GoFundMe accounts for this. This is ridiculous. And I said this to the in the members only live stream, that just because if the public decided to donate to the families, does it let Bryan Kohberger off the hook? He has fees, but he wants it for his commissary. So he's fighting the restitution. He's absolutely refusing to pay with that. He really is a piece of work. He just is the most narcissistic, self-centered. I'm just trying to find an article. So he does not want to have to pay restitution. He was ordered to pay. Here are the breakdown of what he was owed, and this is his objections. A total cost as part of his July 2025 plea deal. So he agreed to this. He was ordered to pay over $250,000 in criminal fines and fees to the state, plus $20,000 to each victim's family members, and another $28,956 to reimburse for funeral costs through the Idaho Crime Fund compensation. The new expenses in September of 2025, prosecutors asked for an extra $27,330 to cover the Gonzalez and Mogan families' travel and accommodations costs for court proceedings. Now, BK's defense is arguing that he doesn't want to pay this. And he's saying that the family got GoFundMe donations, and therefore that lets him off the hook. That lets him off the hook. Uh, Family members had to pay, and therefore I shouldn't have to. So let's put this up. This guy is really a piece of work. My sourcing on this is the Idaho Statesman. So these are his lawyers. I guess I don't know. Do they have to file this? I don't know. Oh, they're not letting me read their article. All right. I don't want to subscribe to them right now. Yeah, so they say victims' families, let's do this one instead. Victims' families have enough money. I don't want to give them any more. My sourcing on this is Fox. So lawyers for Bryan Kohberger, so this is Ann Taylor, have asked the judge to please excuse him from having to pay the $27,000 for 2 of the 4 victims, arguing they've already received more than enough through donations from people around the country via GoFundMe. Now, to be clear, the Gonzalez's refunded that money. BK agreed to pay more than, oh my gosh. Try this again. BK agreed to pay more than, he already agreed to this. So he agreed to this, and now he's saying he doesn't want to do it. More than $250,000. But his lawyers say he shouldn't have to pay another $20,000 to the Gonzalez's and another $7,000 to Karen Laramie, who's Maddie Mogan's mom, because they had GoFundMe's. She says that the additional funds do not qualify under economic loss under Idaho Code 195304 because Stephen Christy Gonzalez and Karen Laramie received extensive funds through multiple GoFundMe campaigns. I absolutely hate this website. This is why I was trying to do Idaho Statesman. Sorry. And this was submitted by Ann Taylor, Alyssa Matsoth, and Becca Barlow, all signed on to this. I don't know, you guys. Like, do they have to do this? They said Mr. Kohberger has no ability now or in the future to pay restitution because he's serving 4 consecutive life sentences plus 10 years. And, a lot of us wondered if there was a book deal or a movie deal coming up. Like, if you didn't have the way to pay it, then why are you fighting it? Across 3 fundraisers outlined in the court docs, donors gave $73,493 in one campaign for the Gonzalez's and Mogan, and then in another one, $48,815, so Karen Laramie could attend. Remember, this trial was going to take months. They were going to have to be in a hotel or Airbnb for months in Ada County because Ann Taylor and Bryan Kohberger wanted the trial moved out of Latah County. So this put all this extra onto the families, and so people donated to them. But does the public donating to Bryan Kohberger, does that absolve him? I'm sorry, donating to the families of Bryan Kohberger's victims, does that absolve him of his? I don't think anybody that donated to them, and most of those have been refunded. I don't think anybody that donated to them thought, oh, well, I want to do this because I want to help out Bryan Kohberger. So they said that, their argument that they filed on October 7th as well, he doesn't have a way to pay this, so therefore he shouldn't have to pay it. And I just feel like that's just nonsense, you guys. Let me know. Let's do a poll. Should Bryan Kohberger, whether you donated or not to the Gonzalez's, the Laramies, anybody who was doing a fundraiser, does your donation mean that the defendant in any criminal case, it doesn't even have to be Bryan Kohberger, should be absolved from paying their penalties? If you donated, should that absolve them? Yes or no? Just let's do a poll. Just curious what you want. Nobody wants to help him, Shelley said. Yeah. Tara says, I could say some really ugly things. This is a sorry excuse for a human, but as a mod, I'm just going to hold my tongue. Lori says, absolutely not. I don't think anybody feels like, yeah, the GoFundMe has absolutely nothing to do with restitution. I agree with that. Kay Bling said, there is There it is. Ann Taylor. He'll be appealing soon. Ann Taylor's probably behind a book deal in the movie. I'm wondering if there's a book deal coming too. I'm wondering if there's a book deal coming too. DDWM says, Jessica, I don't see how I can get around restitution. Yeah, wouldn't the judge have to sign off on that? Well, they're trying. They're trying. It may just be Ann Taylor, Let's see what you guys say. Lori says no. Cry Burger. No, says Susan. Thank you for modding today, Susan and Michael and Lori. Kelly says no. Francie says no. Shelly says no. Veronica says no. Octopus says no. Michael says no. Nobody's saying yes. No. No. Yeah, I don't think the public donated to the family members to absolve Bryan Kohberger from having to pay his share. And Jazz, our other head mod, thank you for modding today, says no. Dee Dee, thank you for modding, says no. Tara, thank you for modding, no. Betsy says, he has random people donating to his commissary account. The state takes a percentage. He's trying to lower it. That's it. He just wants more money in his commissary. And probably there is a book deal. We're already hearing that Lifetime has a movie. Oh, I'm so glad you're feeling a little bit better and you're up and going, Dee. Thank you for joining me today. And take your time and just get better, okay? Kay Bling says he's entitled to nothing. Lori says hello. Teresa says absolutely not. And Dee Dee says, did BK forget about the fact that the judge doesn't like him? Ann Taylor didn't make any friends with this judge either, in my opinion. Billy said, hi, Jessica. I hope you and all the mods and chatters are doing well. It's getting too cold for me, dipping down to the 30s. Oh, that does sound chilly. No way should any outside money be given to him for anything. Thank you for modding today, Dee Dee. And Dee Dee says, Ann Taylor infuriated me the whole time from this begging to think people like her are cashing in. Yeah, I mean, maybe she should give her money that she earned from this case to Bryan Kohberger. Maybe she should put that on his commissary if he's so worried about himself. I don't know if she has to file this. Maybe she has to legally file it. Let's look it up. Does a public defender have to file motions once the case maybe she has to file this. She may have to. Let's take a look. Boy. No, it says no, according to AI. A public defender is generally not required to file motions after a defendant pleads guilty because the purpose of pretrial motions is to address issues before the plea. Once a guilty plea is entered, the case moves to sentencing. Any post-plea motions, such as a motion to withdraw the plea, must be filed by the defendant themselves or their new legal counsel. The decision of whether to file a motion is a strategic one that belongs to the attorney. They are not required to file a motion that they believe lacks merit, even if the client requests it. So it sounds like she had some choices here. I don't know if this is, I don't know. Type in Bryan Kohberger specifically. So let's talk a little bit about the strategy behind the Kohberger deal. First she tried to get more time. She then tried to have all of the camera footage of the Hyundai Elantra thrown out because she said she didn't have time to go through it. She then tried to say that he was autistic and shouldn't be held accountable for that. She was trying to get capital punishment thrown out. That didn't work. Then she finds out that his family is going to be called to testify. And then all of a sudden we get this plea deal. But it doesn't sound like she had to file this motion. So why did she? Why did Ann Taylor? of 2025. I wish I could get a better answer. I can't find it like a reasonable answer for it. Nope. Nope. Very, very interesting. I do think that his parents are not wealthy, but I do know there's a Lifetime movie. Let's find it is and the Gonzalez family said they're not getting anything from this. So it sounds like they're just using this, like ripping it from the headlines. So this is that. This is the actor that's going to play in this. And he does look like Bryan Kohberger. We talked about this during the members live stream too a little bit. I do think he has a very similar look, similar facial features. I think with a little bit of makeup and different hair. I think he will be able to do a good job on that. His name is Miles Mary. He's been cast as Bryan Kohberger. And this movie is going to chronicle law enforcement's desperate search for the person who did away with these young people. These are the same people that did the Murdaugh murders, starring Bill Pullman. So it's going to be on Lifetime. And he's 22 years old, so he's actually younger than Bryan Kohberger is. Bryan Kohberger is 30 now. And the production is scheduled to begin next month in November. So I think that's interesting too. So for those of you that don't know, this is where Bryan Kohberger is. Dee says that Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, he really is. Yeah, he is. Ann Taylor just escaped that case with her job by the skin of her teeth. She should have been kicked off the case for her delays and nonsense. I think I don't think she came out of it very well, but this is where he gets to live now, if this gives you any comfort at all. He's in a cell just like this. I don't know if he's on the first floor or second floor, but this prison it's loud. So I would think that compared to jail, this would be awful compared to like how he had it at the Latah County jail and the jail in Ada County. He was getting his vegan meals and getting to shower. His cellmate said he was taking 1 hour showers, so he's getting long showers. Here he gets a shower only every other day, not every day. And I'm sure he doesn't get an hour in there. And he's in this little tiny cell. You can see the doors, the space. So not very big. These cells overlook this area. And then if you're in protective custody, you may not be allowed out in with general population. You may have to, interact with people from a cage, which has a little table and chairs. And this is what it looks like from the side. So you can see that these two, this is the space between this door to this door is the space of one cell that he's in. So not very big at all. This is how it gives you an idea of how noisy it is. There's not a lot. It's got a cement floor, the guard station in the middle here. There's not a lot to absorb sound. So I would think that it would echo, that it would be really loud and noisy, just with people talking in a normal tone of voice, just because of how many cells there are and how close together everybody is. This is the cage downstairs that I just showed you. That, if you're in protective custody, and, you might have to sit in this rather than just be allowed to mill around. I don't know if he's allowed. I know he's allowed out for 1 hour a day outside. And no more suits for him. No more suits. Yeah, please give this a thumbs up. Yeah, let YouTube know I'm doing a good job. I do want to say thank you so much to our producers, Njaz, Sasha Angel, George Brown, Michael L. Cole, and Christy Ballantyne. And thank you to our channel members. We do have some new channel members. If you got a channel membership last week from NJAWS, your name should be here. If you are a channel member and you don't see your name, please email me and let me know. And I will take a look. I'm not perfect. I do like check and double check when I'm doing these lists, but I could miss someone. So I always just say, I'd rather you have me tell me and me say, yeah, no, I do see it on there. Because sometimes people miss it when they're going through. You could also pause the video and look at it just to see if your name is on there, just to make sure that I did your name, do have your name. And I put it on there exactly how YouTube gives it to me. And then I also want to say thank you for super thanks and coffee gratitude from our last live stream to Michael L. Cole, Eric Ortega, and NJAWS. Thank you so much. And gifted channel memberships, NJAWS and NJAWS. Thank you so much. Let's take some questions here. If you're just watching, come on up and talk to me. Billy says he should not be able to go any type of money for book deals or his family either. I agree. Unfortunately, there's no son of Sam law in Idaho. So this is why I think he is trying to get out of this. Ann Taylor wants to stay in the news. Yeah, she hasn't done her tour yet, right? We're waiting for Ann Taylor to start making the rounds she didn't make rounds on social media. I thought she was going to. I thought she was going to let Bill Thompson do his rounds and that she would come in right behind him. She didn't. And here's my email if you want to email me. Thank you, NJAWS. If you have any tips, you can email me at tips4jessica@outlook.com. NJAWS thinks Ann Taylor is going to write a book. Ralu does not. I'm not there. You don't think you're there on the members list? Let's take a look. Let's take a look for Ralu. I don't have a way to pause this. Let me see if I can. I'll have to go through it slower. Just go through it one more time and just double check. And then if you're not there, email me and let me know. I did see your name on there on my list, but maybe I didn't transcribe it over to this list. I do see your name. It's right there. Right there. It's on the left. I just pointed at it, but obviously I just remembered you guys can't see me. I do see your name there, Ralu, but thank you for letting me know. Tara says, thank you, Betsy. And Jess is awesome for giving memberships to our community. And Cabling says, welcome, Ralu. Yeah, so your name is on there, Ralu. Lori agrees with you, Cabling, and Ralu. Oh, good. I'm glad you're happy with that. Yeah, sometimes when you're going through, especially when I'm like redoing stuff, you're looking for your name in the old place, and then I update the list and your name is still on there, but it might be in a new place. But you can always go through with your computer or phone or whatever and just pause and read each one. And if I've left your name up, please let me know. I'd rather check and check for you than have you think your name's not on there. Thank you. And say thank you you can thank NJAWS because I think she is the one that gifted you that membership, which was so nice. Susan said, I'm so sorry Bryan did not choose to be born this way. However, justice must prevail for the safety of others. You're right, Susan. Thank you, NJAWS. And NJAWS is the one that found the book by Melissa too. It looks like I saved the link for it last night, and it just looks like that came down. And NJAWS, I emailed NJAWS. I'm like, I don't think that one belonged to Melissa, and she's like, well, I'm going to order it. So I'll be really curious, NJAWS, if you do get the book. But I'm wondering if Melissa's family saw it too and thought, oh no, it's this isn't me. Yeah, she could. Thanks for modding today. Bundy says, I'd like to know if he was a peculiar as a kid. Well, this is what we do know about him. We know he was removed, not suspended or put in detention, but he was literally removed from his high school program and had to finish school online. He was in like an ROTC type of program, and he was literally removed from school. But the school, because they have similar laws to HIPAA, that's all they can really reveal to us. But this is what they did say. They said that the woman that did speak on this said that in finding out what he did, the crimes that he was accused of and ultimately pled guilty to, that she was not shocked. in light of what he did in school. So whatever, that was kind of cryptic, but it did kind of say us, hey, good to see you. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. If you, I just want to say thank you for coming by to spend a little bit of time with me. We're going to be doing an update on Lily and Jack Sullivan in a couple of days, and I'm going to be doing update on the D4VD case, the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, in a couple of days as well. And let me know if you would like me to do another Bryan Kohberger update. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.